Hey friend, welcome to the BotBuhdy AI report. Today we've got a packed show for you. EU AI Act goes live. Find start now for Unlabeled. AI content. DeepSeek resumes $8 billion funding round at $74 billion valuation. ChainDrop. The self-spreading worm that hides inside your AI coding assistant. SemiAnalysis. Gemini is losing, but Google Cloud is quietly winning the AI war. And finally, OpenAI is retiring. O3, the age of separate reasoning models. Let's get into it.
As of this week, the European Union is no longer just talking about AI rules. They are enforcing them. Article 50 of the EU AI Act kicked in on August 2nd, and if you create, publish, or deploy AI-generated content in EU markets without labeling it, you are now looking at fines in the millions of euros. We are talking about everything. AI-generated audio, images, video, and text all need a machine-readable watermark or a clear disclosure. And the EU AI office has real teeth now. They can walk into any AI lab, request access to their models, demand corrective action, and hit companies with serious financial penalties. OpenAI, Google, Meta, and TikTok have already been scrambling to get their transparency measures in place ahead of enforcement. But here's the part that surprises most people. This does not just apply to big tech. Regular users and small creators who deploy AI-generated content in Europe are also on the hook. If you are building anything with AI for a European audience and you are not labeling it, you are now technically at risk. The world's first comprehensive AI law just got very, very real.
Now this next story really got me thinking. This could change everything.
Remember DeepSeek, the Chinese AI startup that shocked the entire tech world earlier this year? They are back and they are raising big. Bloomberg reported this week that DeepSeek has resumed its second funding round, seeking close to $8 billion. The valuation they are targeting is $74 billion. That puts DeepSeek in the same conversation as the most valuable AI companies on the planet. Now, some context. This round had been paused after someone leaked the founder's private remarks to investors. Liang Wenfeng had made some pretty candid comments about the company's competitive strategy and his ambitions, and that caused some turbulence. But the investor appetite is clearly still there because the round is back open and moving forward. Monolith Management is reportedly in talks to join. Think about what this number means. Despite U.S. export controls that are supposed to limit China's access to top-tier AI chips, despite the ongoing geopolitical tension between the two countries, despite everything, DeepSeek is now being valued higher than most U.S. AI startups. The message from global capital markets is loud and clear. Chinese AI is not going away.
This is fascinating. The more I looked into this, the more interesting it got.
Palo Alto Networks just published something that every developer using AI coding tools needs to hear. There is a piece of malware called ChainDrop. It is a self-spreading worm, and it has already infected more than 440 NPM packages and created over 2,000 malicious package versions. Bad on its own. But here is where it gets genuinely disturbing. ChainDrop figured out that AI coding assistants read their startup configuration files every single time they launch. Tools like Cursor, tools like Copilot, so the worm hides itself inside those config files. That means every time you open your AI coding tool, it silently reinfects your machine, automatically, invisibly, without you doing anything wrong. And while it is in there, it is stealing everything it can find. SSH keys, cloud credentials, Docker tokens, Terraform state files, developer API keys. The worm essentially turns your most trusted development tool into an automatic credential harvesting machine that fires up every single morning with your workflow. If you are a developer who has not audited your NPM packages or your AI tool startup configs recently, this is your sign to go do that right now. Do not wait.
All right, let's go. This next story has me fired up. You are going to want to hear this.
After this week's bombshell departure of Demis Hassabis and Jeff Dean from Google DeepMind, one of the most respected AI research publications dropped a piece with a headline that cuts right to the point. Gemini is cooked, but GCP is cooking. Here is what that means. The Gemini model team is in serious trouble. The talent is walking out the door. Gemini 4 is delayed. The leadership vacuum left by Hassabis is real. Koray Kavukoglu is now running day-to-day operations, but he is inheriting a team that has just watched its founding father leave. That is not a good starting position. But look at the other side of the company. Google Cloud Platform, run by Thomas Kurian, is in a completely different situation. For years, Gemini and GCP were fighting each other internally for the same compute resources. That tension is now gone. And here is the wild part. The AI labs that are beating Google on models, OpenAI, Anthropic, still need somewhere to run their infrastructure. Google Cloud is right there, open for business, more capable than ever. Google may be losing the AI model race while quietly becoming the backbone that everyone else runs on. That is a strange kind of winning, but it might be worth more in the long run.
Wow. Okay, so that just happened. This next one really blew my mind.
OpenAI just confirmed that O3 is being retired from ChatGPT on August 26th, and GPT 5.4 and GPT 5.4 Mini retire from Codex on August 31st. If you are on O3, you are moving to something called GPT-5 thinking. But the real story here is not just the retirement dates. It is what this pattern tells us about where OpenAI is heading. For roughly 2 years, the AI world operated on a split model philosophy. If you needed fast conversational answers, you used a regular model like GPT-4 or GPT-5. If you needed deep step-by-step reasoning for complex problems, you reached for a dedicated reasoning model. O1, O3, the thinking variants. 2 different tools for 2 different jobs. That era is ending. OpenAI is collapsing its entire lineup into the GPT-5 family. GPT-5, thinking for heavy reasoning. GPT-5 for general use. 1 model family, everything included. The implicit bet they are making is that GPT-5 is now powerful enough to just handle all of it without needing a separate specialized track. And based on what GPT-5 has been doing on benchmarks and real-world tasks lately, they might just be right.
That's all for today, friend. If you found this helpful, smash that like button and hit subscribe. I will see you tomorrow with more AI news. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and remember, leverage your intelligence.